Love and Sacrifice is the movie I'm reviewing today. This movie is on Maurice TV, executive produced and produced by Maurice. The story is by Chris. A recap of this movie is a young man who is, you know, a known Casanova. Now, all of a sudden, there was a baby or a child at his doorstep with a letter note stating that this is your child, you need to take care of her. And as someone who is a high-time womanizer, he doesn't have time for this child. So, he has to sacrifice his womanizing thing for his daughter, but by so doing he needed a maid to take care of his daughter. This maid came and sacrificed her life for this child, and that brought the Casanova and the maid together. Basically, that's a recap of this movie. What I like about this movie, let me start with location. I'm talking about the school. They actually didn't show us the inside of the school. They just showed us the gate outside of the school. We have to assume that the girl actually goes to school there. But I mean, I appreciate this YouTube, low budget to get high money. I get it. At least we saw her being dropped and being picked at a school gate. That was an effort being made. I like that. Next thing I like about this movie, I'll talk about the theme song. Maurice has changed his theme song. I think they are trying to improve the song or sound of their movies on YouTube. A lot of these channels or actors who have turned producers on YouTube are beginning to have their own special theme song for their movies. So I think I like that. Yeah, so Maurice has actually changed his song for his movies. When you listen to this song, you realize that this is a new one. And I think I like that. I enjoy the song. It's really entertaining. I like that. So that was something I like about this movie. Next thing I like about this movie, let's talk about cast and acting of this movie. I'll start with the famous gate man that Maurice always uses. In this movie, finally, I mean, he's still a security guard, but not in Maurice house. Like, I know, whenever I do Maurice movie review, I always say, can you give this guy a new role to play aside just being a security guard? I think so far this is 2 or 3 movie roles that he's acting. Security all the time. In Witness Protection, the one with Sonia Uche, that guy was a police officer, a fallen police officer, and I think that was quite a different role for him. Here in this movie, I like that he's still a security, but of course outside of Maurice house, not a gate man to Maurice. I think that's an improvement. I like that, and he was quite funny. I mean, every role that he played as a security, he's always a comedian, and I enjoyed that as well. Moving on to Maurice, the character that he played as a Casanova turning into a lover boy, obviously. Now, the scene that I like about him in this movie is when it was presumed that Shaznay was dead. That scene was really intense for me, and I like that Maurice was able to channel a little more of him being emotional and very dramatic about the news that he got. So that scene was really intense. I like that he was able to bring out a little more of him acting. That I really enjoyed that scene. That was a scene that I enjoyed Maurice in this movie. Lastly, what I like about this movie is the kidnapping scene. That was really fun and cool and calm kidnapping scene that I've ever seen in a movie. Why? Because I mean, if you watch the movie, you will know that that was the same car that Maurice came with to pick the daughter, which obviously she was already kidnapped. It was just a cool calm. I just love the way it was just done quietly. That's pretty much why I like that scene. So yeah, those are the things I like about this movie. Moving on to what I do not like about this movie, I'll start with the storyline. There was something just off about this storyline. There was no thinking process, no creativity whatsoever. From the moment Maurice brought in Shaznay to the house, I knew that obviously they are going to fall in love. There was something just off about this movie. If you watch it, you understand what I mean. There was nothing exciting. There was no ginger. There was no sauce in this movie. Like, it was just, you are watching and you are thinking, is this movie really exciting, boring? What is this movie lacking? You ask yourself that when you watch this movie. Something is just off about the storyline of this movie. You cannot even lay your finger on it exactly what is missing in this movie. Yes, I just didn't like the storyline and everything as a whole. It was just not it for me. Another thing I don't like about this movie was the scenes where Shaznay got hurt. You know, she has a bandage on her forehead. She was at the kitchen, she had this bandage on. The next scene, the bandage was off. The next scene again, the bandage was off. Next scene, the bandage was on. Like they did this mistake like twice. Off on twice. Yeah, these guys are just joke. Not only was the bandage off, you see that there's just no scar on her forehead. As someone who got hurt and had bandage on her forehead, there was no scar, nothing, and she still had perfect makeup on. I'm like, what exactly is going? These are the little details that you will not find this mistake on other channels, and it's so lazy minded or lazy production giving us this mediocre on YouTube. It's just super annoying. This mistake shouldn't be repeating itself. So that was something I'm like, it happened twice, so that was an obvious mistake that could have been avoided. But yeah, I mean, it's YouTube, just put it out, people will still watch anyway. So that was something I did not like about this movie. Another thing I don't like about this movie was how they jump from her waking up from her supposed death to a proposal in a bedroom. How we just feel that the movie was just cut off. They just removed some scenes that they felt was not necessary. They could do away with it. Waking up from, you know, her supposed death or from her coma straight to proposal in their bedroom, and I'm like, when you watch the movie, the transition just doesn't make sense. It doesn't flow. Something is just off about it, and I'm like, nah, this is not it for me. Finally, what I don't like about this movie is what happened to Shaznay's ex. He was the one that kidnapped the child. He was the one that took the money. He was the one that shot at Shaznay or wanted to shoot at the little girl. I don't know who he was targeting, but yes, of course, he shot at Shaznay. So what happened to him? So they are saying that he actually succeeded in the kidnapping thing. He took the money, he shot at Shaznay, no arrest, nothing. So that's it. He's not relevant to the storyline. What are we learning from this movie actually? Like, what are we taking home? What is this movie going to be remembered with? Like, guys, on that note, I'll rate this movie a 1/10. If you haven't watched Love and Sacrifice, do what to watch if you're interested. It's on Maurice TV. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the next movie review.